Hey everybody, it's Coach Joby here, and I'd like to chat with you a little bit about both training and nutrition. So, on the training side of things, overall, especially this time of the year, everybody is doing an awesome job nailing the workouts, getting them completed, turning those boxes green, and obviously that's part of the process, the daily completion of the workouts as instructed. And when we stack week upon week, it adds up and it leads to big results. And I think we all, from a training standpoint, we understand and we know that just simply 2 weeks of consistent training is not going to get us to our goal. It takes month after month of consistency and putting in the work. One of the things that I talk to you guys about is not striving for perfection with your workouts. There's some days you're not going to nail everything, and there's some days where you're going to hit it exactly as you need to, and you're going to feel great. And some days you're not going to feel so great, and that's okay. That's part of the process. But the idea is consistency. Now, if we look at the nutrition side of things, that's one area where if I were to give myself a grade for training, I'd say A+. Like, I do what I need to do. As far as nutrition, I would say it's probably not quite in the A range, maybe like a B. And what I mean by that is it's easier for me to check those training boxes and getting the training in than it is to consistently make good nutritional choices. Now, I'm not striving for perfection, and I wouldn't say there's a perfect way to eat. It's just what we're doing most of the time, just like within training, right? We can take a day or 2 days or 3 days off if we are consistently putting in the work. Same thing with nutrition. If we're consistently making choices that are nutritious, where we're getting in nutrient-dense food, we're staying true to our internal cues of when we're hungry and eating when we need to eat, then we're doing what we should be doing most of the time, and that's going to, month after month, that's going to lead to big results. And one of the reasons I thought of that is because I had a discussion with somebody regarding like a perfect diet and exactly how you should eat, and really there is no perfect approach. It's just what works for you. So for me, for example, I love my carbs, and like eating a more of like the keto side or like really low carb, that's just not something that I can ever realistically apply for myself, just because it's not like who I am and what I enjoy. And so I obviously I eat the way that works for me, and same thing for you, whether it's you eat a lot of meat or you don't eat any meat, or you avoid dairy products, or whatever approach you're going to take, you have to make sure it's going to be sustainable, something you're going to be able to carry out long term, and something that is going to that long term consistency is going to benefit you. So as you continue down your journey into the 2020 season, I want you to think about not only the training part of it, and I think we all have a really good grasp of that, but also the nutrition side of things. Try to get in the consistent intake 80 to 90% of the time, and if you have a day where you eat crappy food, and that's fine, because I do that too, and it's not a big deal. But don't look at that as like a failed attempt. Don't look at that as failed nutrition. Just say, hey, you know what? This is what I did, and let's just move on. And whether it's the very next meal that you have, that you go back to your regular eating of nutritious food, then that's it. I would just discourage you from taking that mistake and saying, man, I really screwed this up. I had a lot of crappy food, and then that kind of can tend to snowball, and soon, like 2 or 3 days go by before you start to say, hey, let's bring this back into and under control. So look at your nutrition sort of the same way that you do your workouts. It's what you're doing most of the time, and what you are doing on a consistent basis. So avoid any kind of crazy fads where you're doing like some severe calorie restriction, which, as we all know, is not sustainable, and there's a lot of other reasons why that would not work for you. But just think about your nutrition as you do with your training. It's about sustainability, it's about consistency, and it's about doing the right thing most of the time. So keep that in mind. Hope all is well, and you guys have a good rest of the week.